Good afternoon, friends, and thank you very much for being here this afternoon for our regular weekly briefing. I have just one area to focus on, and then I'm open for any other questions that you would ask. And that initial comment that I have to make relates to the External Affairs Minister's meeting with the Russian Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Rogozin. They've just completed their meeting, which lasted for approximately 4 hours. They were detailed and extensive discussions on all aspects of our bilateral relations. The talks were warm, cordial, besides being wide-ranging. As you are aware, India and Russia have built a sound relationship befitting a strategic and privileged partnership between them. And the two ministers reaffirmed their intention to develop and strengthen this strategic partnership. Mr. Rogozin is here with the leading experts and senior level officials from the Russian space, nuclear, energy. I meant energy in a broader sense, so it was space, nuclear, energy, economic and trade organizations. The principal focus of their interactions, and also defense, my apologies, I missed out on that. The principal focus largely was on trying to improve the untapped potential between India and Russia in terms of our economic and commercial engagement. Our bilateral trade is approximately $10 billion, of which approximately 6.5 is Russian exports to India and 3.5 are Indian exports to Russia. There was a mutually agreed feeling that this did not reflect the potential that is available in both societies, and it was agreed that we need to ramp this up. Among the complementarities that were identified in trying to move ahead on the trade front were hydrocarbons, nuclear energy, pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, diamonds, coking coal, and infrastructure development. In this context, it was agreed that a joint study group would discuss a free trade agreement, the feasibility of a free trade agreement between India and the customs union of Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. Formalities for these are now under process in all the countries, and a formal announcement on the constitution of this joint study group would be made at the earliest possible opportunity. India proposes to have an India trade show in Moscow in September. You are also aware that there is a CEO's council from both sides which has been set up last year, and it was felt that we need to ask them to work more intensively to make suggestions for invigorating trade and investment ties. Now, India sees Russia as a key partner for our energy security, and there was a detailed discussion on possibilities of cooperation in the hydrocarbon sector, as well as other areas of energy cooperation. Now, on the nuclear issue, EM informed Mr. Rogozin about the Kudankulam 1 nuclear power plant attaining full capacity of 1,000 megawatts on the 7th of June. And they discussed the way ahead, and the understanding was that Kudankulam nuclear plant number 2 is likely to attain criticality by the end of the year. There was also a detailed discussion on defense matters. You are aware that approximately 60% of Indian defense imports are from Russia. The two ministers also worked out a schedule of meetings that they would like to follow for senior level interactions between Russia and India for the rest of the year. This includes the meeting of the India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission that will be held a little later, and followed by the annual summit where President Putin is to visit India later during the year. I think I would stop there in terms of giving you a roundup of the discussions between the two ministers. If you have any questions on this, I will answer them, following which I do understand you have questions on other issues, and I'm willing to answer those. Mr. Venkat Narayan?
Been a report suggesting that when Mr. Putin arrives here later this year, he is going to discuss the possibility of having a massive energy cooperation deal to supply gas, which is similar to the $400 billion deal he signed with the Chinese when he was there recently. Did this matter figure in the talks today? Will it come via Pakistan or through the Himalayas or whatever?
I understand that, well, let me put it this way. There were detailed discussions on energy cooperation. However, it was felt that the specific aspects need to be discussed by the technical experts on both sides. And there are likely to be meetings later during the month on a technical front on these, and that's where these elements are likely to be considered and discussed. So they did not get into any specifics of any projects, but that we see Russia as a major partner in our energy security was re-emphasized by the External Affairs Minister. Yes, sir. Just a minute. We'll get you the mic.
Sayedji, any progress, if you don't mind, can I ask you two very short questions?
No,
one for my colleague, because he is very late because of traffic jam from Asant Vihar.
I always, this is a new one, very smart question. But one question, we'll wait for him to come and I'll answer
okay.
This, please. Yes.
Earlier, India officially announced that it's planning to include Russia in 180 countries who can get visa on arrival. And when Mr. Modi came to power, he also announced that in his manifesto that tourism is one of the most important parts. Did such kind of things like people-to-people contacts, including tourism, discuss, and any concrete days for this issue on visa on arrival? Okay. Thank you very much.
There was a discussion on people-to-people contacts, and this was raised largely by the Indian side. This relates to visa requirements for Indians to travel to Russia, largely relating to business visas. So there was a discussion. There was also a feeling that if we could address some of the concerns of industry, it would be useful in further improving economic and commercial ties. But the visa on arrival issue was not raised or discussed. Yes, Manish.
Akbar, did we raise the issue of, or did we see clarification from the Russian side on Pakistan, on their proposed plan to sell arms to Pakistan, and what was Russia's response to it?
Manish, one question. You asked two. I will, as I said, I choose when you ask whether it was raised and what was the next, that's a follow-up. But I will allow others to ask that follow-up. But the question regarding our defense cooperation and any issues that impact on this in terms of our concerns were raised with the Russian side. Yes, anyone can do a follow-up. Yes, Naz.
Then what was the Russian response?
Very smart. Good. And I think you are aware that I speak for the government of India. It is not my, I understand there will be separate briefings indicated by our Russian colleagues on what is their view on this, and I suggest that these questions are addressed there. I can clarify to you that this was an issue that was discussed in the context of our entire gamut of our defense cooperation, and we raised issues of interest to us. As regards the response of our Russian interlocutors, it's best that they respond to it, because they would be in a better position to formulate for you the nuances or the trajectory of their response. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, sir. Suchetna from Economic ET Now. So my question to you is regarding Iraq. Given the crisis there,
No, we are first dealing with Russia, and I will answer those questions on Iraq, which is going to come off next. Since your first time here, I always finish the questions on the topic that is finished, and then we will take on any other topic. Okay. So just hold on. Yes, on Russia? Yes.
Sir, what's the issue of Kodangulam 3rd and 4th reactors came up in this meeting, and what is the roadmap for that?
You see, yes, as you are aware, an agreement has been signed on that and between the two countries in April. Subsequent to that, our technical experts are working together. The Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy was here. He also utilized the opportunity to discuss these of the roadmap ahead. At this stage, they are working on technical matters, including issues relating to seismic studies, etc. And as they go ahead, they will provide further details on these. These are technical matters regarding to what technical requirements are required to be checked before you go into the construction phase. So these are pre-construction issues which are being discussed, and this was discussed. Yes, Dipanjan?
For the specifics in the defense projects and infrastructure investments and defense.
Well, as you are aware, we are planning huge infrastructure investments. The idea was to sensitize our Russian friends of the opportunities available for investment in India in the infrastructure projects. These are well known in terms of our infrastructure needs, and they will take this back and work through. We are going to have a full-fledged meeting of the India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission a little later during the year, and at that stage we will get into the specifics of those. I will not answer the second because I only said one, but someone else can raise that and I will answer. Yes, Rajiv, always with the most colorful question.
You are clamped up on Me-35 issue. Let me ask something absolutely non-contentious. Specifically on this DMIC, some months back, India gave a presentation to Russia in Moscow on DMIC project, which is also known as a $90 billion corridor of opportunities. Specifically asking what is, at that time they did not respond whether they are willing to invest or not. Now, are they willing to invest now? And they also said that they are exploring options investing in agriculture as well as railway sectors.
We did not discuss the two sectors that you were referring to, but I did indicate infrastructure development, and as you know, DMIC is a major project in that. There was a discussion, but it was agreed that we need a sort of a forward-looking roadmap, and that roadmap will now be worked on and by the experts. So these are political level discussions which don't get into the nitty-gritty, but yes, a sort of a roadmap how to increase Russian investment in India, how to improve India-Russia trade was discussed, and it was agreed that we need to have in a specified time frame a sort of a roadmap on how to proceed in that direction. On this? Yes, Sheila? Just a minute.
You know, it took 4 hours, so I wanted to know political issues were discussed in Iraq situation was discussed, and what are the commonalities between the approach of both countries?
These are matters usually which are discussed between two foreign ministers. Mr. Rogozin represents the Russian contact person in terms of relations of a bilateral nature with India. And there was a discussion on various aspects, and it was not only in terms of his presentation, but there were presentation by other people from space. What are the possibilities of space cooperation? What are the possibilities of economic, what are the hindrances that need to be addressed in terms of economic relations? What are the prospects of, for example, cooperation in diamonds? What would be the possibilities that, because India and Russia are both major actors in this area. So we went into some detail in several of these areas, but we did not get into a discussion on regional or other aspects of because it was not part of that structured agenda. Also, Mr. Rogozin is calling on the meeting the defense minister, and there will be more detailed discussions on defense. Separately, he will call on the Prime Minister too, and in those meetings there are no structured agendas of the sort that I indicated to you. So it is likely some of these issues that you addressed are likely to figure in the meetings that are lined up from now till tomorrow. Yes, Gautam?
Sir, since the last UPA government could not finalize the proposed nuclear power plant site of Haripur in Bengal, so whether new government has decided or proposed any new site to the Russians?
At this stage, the understanding is that if there is not possible for various reasons to have a Russian reactor site in Haripur, an alternate site would be considered. But we did not get into the details of that site or where it would be located, etc., because there is a previous understanding on this that there would be two sites. One was Kudankulam and there was another site. And that, as you said, was Haripur. But at this stage, a final decision on the feasibility or lack of it on Haripur is not finalized. So if it doesn't happen, of course, there are possibilities of other sites. If you have no questions, oh yes, on Russia. Just a minute, please. Yeah.
तो रशिया से पेट्रोलियम कॉर्पोरेशन अभी कितना है, हम कितना इंपोर्ट करते हैं या नहीं करते?
I do not have those details, but I will provide them to you shortly. Well, anybody else? And I do understand there will be several other questions on, not on Russia. Anyone else questions on Russia? Then we go to the next level. Okay, no. So, yes, on anything else? Yes, just a minute. Padma Rao, I will answer. Ma'am, you finished your chance. Oh, always one. I think you're new here. Yes. Oh, yes, fine. Sure.
Akbar, I just wanted to know, the Iraq rescue operation, if we want to call it that, of Indians there. I've been reading various reports. There's Mrs. Swaraj who's been speaking to the family members of the Punjabis. There's Mr. Baby who was on television speaking about the Malayali nurses. Then the Telangana government is trying to find out which people there are, of Telangana origin. Is there there must be a central coordinated effort, and if there is one, which there is, what kind of a figure is it based on? Because the only figure I have is 18,000 total number of Indian oil rig workers and doctors and nurses. But there must be an overall figure including everyone. And why, these different initiatives from each state?
Sure. First of all, let me try and explain to you that there are various initiatives, naturally, because when ordinary citizens are involved, it is normal for many channels to work simultaneously. And these are not competitive, but they are complementary. Let me try and explain to you how it's working. Our understanding is that on last count, there were approximately 10,000 Indian nationals in Iraq. Now, Iraq is a big country. there are areas where there is a concern in terms of the situation there. And those areas are not all over Iraq. So there is the northern part of Iraq where it is Kurdistan, part of it where there is a local government fully working, and there are no issues there. Also the southern part, there are no issues. So if you take in all our Indian nationals, there are approximately, I would think, about 6,000 in the northern part. There are approximately another 3,000 or so between Baghdad and Najaf and Basra, etc. There remain another total. In the affected part, our evaluation is this is a little above 100, where there are areas of uncertainty, where the situation is tenuous, where communication is uncertain, and where we are trying to work with small communities, we are trying to work with construction companies, etc. And that's why the difficulty in this. Now, there are normally people from various countries, various states in any country. And it is normal if the state government set up a contact place where they can get information. So relatives of people who are in Iraq are perhaps contacting people in Kerala, in Telangana, also in New Delhi. By my account, since last evening, we have received something like 60 phone calls from families of people who are in the region and who would like to know the situation. Also, there are 60 phone calls, 60. Also, I am getting information from a variety of sources, including some journalists here. This morning, a colleague of yours contacted me and said that there were 200 Indians in Najaf who were feeling uncomfortable because of the situation. Immediately, we contacted the ambassador there, who contacted this company. It was a Turkish company, and the company said that they are, if any Indians want to go back, they are willing to provide assistance, and the first lot of people from that Turkish company are leaving on Friday, because the airports in Baghdad and in Erbil are open. So there are no restrictions in those areas. So please be rest assured that the area which is facing this uncertainty in terms of the security situation is not where the majority of Indians are. But that said, this is not about majority or minority. This is about Indian nationals. And you are aware of two major cases of Indian nationals where their security situation seems to be rather tenuous. One relates to the 46 Indian nurses who are in Tikrit. Our mission has been in touch with them. Some of you have directly been in touch with them also. We had requested the Red Cross to try and contact them and to see at first hand ensure their security and welfare. The Red Crescent, I beg your pardon, did respond to us that they had gone there, met several of them, and had communicated to them that in the current situation in Tikrit and in Mosul, it is not appropriate to take the surface route. And therefore, they have advised in Tikrit that they do not use the surface route. As part of our planning, we have a contingency planning unit working in Delhi. They have worked on a variety of options because whatever the number, yes, it is true, out of the 46, several Indian nurses prefer to stay back. But even if there are 1, 2, 5, 10, we are willing to assist to the best of our abilities. Let me assure you, as you said, we are working on all fronts. There are those states working. There is the External Affairs Minister who took time off even from her meeting this morning to make telephone calls to the relatives of some of those who are involved in these areas where the security situation is tenuous. We have Mr. Anil Wadhwa, Secretary East in the Ministry of External Affairs, spearheading all our contacts with various international organizations to try and see what we can best achieve in that. We have our ambassador there along with an embassy. We are not fair weather friends. We don't intend to shut down our embassy. In fact, we intend to increase our embassy's effectiveness, and we have decided that our former ambassador there, Mr. Suresh Reddy, who is currently in Delhi awaiting his next posting, will be sent back to Baghdad so that he can reinforce the embassy's abilities in these crisis situations. Now, these are difficult times for us, and we are trying our best on all fronts. And let me assure you, we will not leave any stone unturned in our quest to help every single Indian national. Yes, ma'am. Just a minute. You get the mic.
Workers who are
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. The 40 workers who were working in Mosul were working with a company called Tariq Noor Al Huda Construction Company. Our understanding is, based on information that we have gleaned from a variety of sources, including the International Red Crescent, that these 40 Indian workers, I can confirm to you now, have been kidnapped. These are difficult situations. We are working with the company. Also, we are trying to work with the International Red Crescent, who have confirmed to us, but they have also indicated that at this stage they do not know the location of these 40 Indian workers who are kidnapped. This has triggered off for us a very difficult situation, with us working with several of our partners in Iraq as well as elsewhere to try and see what would be the best ways to take this our effort further. At this stage, I'm afraid I can't share further information with you except to indicate to you and to confirm that yes, 40 workers of the Tariq Noor Al Huda Construction Company who are Indians have been kidnapped. We will keep you informed of further information on this matter as we proceed. One finished.
States do these construction workers belong to mostly? Anything that you can share about these workers?
My understanding is they're largely from the northern part of India, from Punjab, belts, etc. But I cannot be very precise because in terms of information flow in such circumstances, you can never be certain about exact information. So I can indicate to you broadly the trend of this information rather than get into specifics. So I hope you will understand that. Yes, Nidhi?
Have you received any ransom call at all? Because this group is known to make demands for ransom. Any indication
no,
of that?
We have not. I can confirm to you again. We have not received any calls of any nature from anyone who has indicated that about ransom, or also whether that they have taken into they have taken these Indian workers under their control. We have not received any information whatsoever, nor any request in this. At this stage, as I said, even the International Red Crescent is not aware of their location. Yes, sir.
May I ask who have kidnapped those 40 Indian nationals and when it happened?
I cannot give you details because we do not know who is. What we know are from the humanitarian agency. They themselves don't know where the location is. So speculating of how, who, at this stage, I don't have that answers for you, but I have an answer and a confirmation that it is with with deep, deep sadness that we can indicate to you that 40 Indian workers working in Mosul in the Tariq Noor Al-Huda construction company have been kidnapped. Yes, Sinjoy?
You said that you confirmed they were kidnapped.
Yes.
How do you know that they were kidnapped? I mean, how are you getting this information if there's not been a ransom, if there's not been
I said that we are working with humanitarian organizations working there. We have contacts with UNAME, with the International Red Crescent, with the Iraqi government. Now, please don't ask me what channel is providing what information, but I have confirmed to you that the Red Crescent did indicate to us that they, as per their information, they can indicate that 40 Indian workers have been kidnapped. They do not know the location. Sure. Just a minute. Yes?
No, there are some missing links, like were they kidnapped en masse, when were they kidnapped, from where were they kidnapped, any idea were they taken away in trucks or a gunpoint from the street, were they kidnapped while trying to come to Baghdad? Do you have any details on all that?
Well, look, this is a situation where information is trickling in from various sources. It is information that we are piecing together here based on inputs received, and I do not want to provide you information which is not authenticated and validated. So at this stage, please bear with us. These are difficult circumstances, both for the families, for those who are working, and for the country itself. So please bear with us. We will try and share with you information as it trickles in. Yes, just a minute. Amrita, just a minute.
Insofar as you're able to share with us, you're saying that the Indian government is working with the humanitarian international agencies and the Iraqi government to get them back as well, to rescue them?
No, at this stage, we need to get as much information as possible. And we are trying to get information, we are trying to establish contacts, we are trying to work with anybody on the ground who can assist us in this difficult circumstances. Yes, Dilip? Just a minute.
सर मेरा सवाल इराक से हटकर चाइना को लेकर है। खबर इस तरह की है कि
लेट्स फिनिश, पहले ये खत्म हो जाए उसके बाद I'll take two more questions because I understand that it's important, but I won't be able to answer all questions, but I'll try and answer. Two questions. Yes.
So are we also taking help from the US since they have a lot of experience in Iraq to establish the coordinates and rescue these workers?
I will not get into operational details. Please try to understand that in an evolving situation, we are not going to share such information of who we are working with. I've told you we are willing to work with every organization and every individual who will assist us in this difficult circumstance. Yes, last question. Yes, Manu.
As you mentioned, you're in touch with the international organizations. Have they given any assurance to us on the safety of the kidnapped workers?
Manu, humanitarian organizations work very differently. There are no guarantees in this. But all that it indicates is our willingness to interact with everybody on this. So please do not think in terms of ironclad guarantees. We have exposure and understanding of these situations. Please bear with us. We will try and provide you further information as it becomes available. For now, let me reconfirm. All that I have to share with you is that I can confirm that 40 Indian workers from Tariq Noor Al-Huda construction company have been kidnapped. Now I'm over with that. I have another appointment to go to. But yes, pardon? I will not get into those details. We will give you, we don't even know where they are. So please understand that. Yes, no, pardon? Yes, ma'am, okay. Just work.
Are you working with the oil ministry, or has the finance ministry got in touch with you about the energy crisis that this has triggered?
Look, I think you're new here. I never get into intra-ministerial consultations. This is not the remit of this briefing. We never get into discussions, but any matter which impinges on India in terms of its external relations is what we will be involved in. But I will not get into details of what X ministry or Y ministry is working with us on. I never do that. And everybody who is here knows of it. Yes, sir. Last question and then we will end. Yes.
It is on the Indian priest who was abducted in Afghanistan.
I have nothing further to share beyond what we shared last time, that there were some leads on which some of the Afghan authorities were working. They have kept us informed, but I have nothing to share on a minute-by-minute or a day-by-day basis on this. I do understand your interest in finding out, but operational reasons require us to work quietly on this, and we are working quietly on this. Yes, last, Dilip, and then I'll leave.
सर मेरा सवाल चीन को लेकर है। चीन ने एयर स्पेस वायोलेशन किया है जोशीमठ के पास 30 अप्रैल और 13 जून को। उनके एक हेलीकॉप्टर एलएसी के अंदर 30 किलोमीटर तक वो आ गए थे। आपके पास कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन है और आपका रिएक्शन क्या है इस पर?
दिलीप, आप जानते हैं कि ना, जब बॉर्डर पर कुछ इश्यूज होते हैं तो ये बॉर्डर के जो हमारे वीर सैनिक हैं वो उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है और वो रिस्पॉन्ड करेंगे। अगर आप कह रहे हैं कुछ ऐसा हुआ है, मेरा आपसे ये रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप ये उन वीर सैनिकों से पूछें, क्योंकि वो बता सकते हैं एग्जैक्ट डिटेल्स। Thank you very much. I will end that discussion right now. Thank you.